Yeah.
So if you are influential, things move a lot faster, but not having to pay bribes.
What is your view on how the international financial turmoil may affect Africa Minerals' operation in Zim?
Well, in terms of raising funding for operations here, I think that it will have a negative impact because we know that the global crisis is affecting the very people that could be interested in investing in this country. But we also, my view is that it should offer an opportunity for some of those investors out there who are hungry for new areas of investment, new frontiers of investment, because this country, the opportunities in this country are enormous, and the entry level for investing is very low. The growth curve for your investment, your return on investment, is very steep. So yes, I think whilst it may be difficult for Africa Minerals to raise funding for projects here, we think this is the opportunity for them to actually, put, their money into a country, because in terms of recovery, the recovery will be a lot faster and a lot steeper than the recovery in the developed countries where the financial turmoil is taking place.
Why do you believe now is a good idea to invest?
Because, for several reasons. Because number one, the country is hungry for foreign direct investment. We think that if a foreigner comes to invest here, they are received with open arms. It's easier for foreigners to invest in the country. Number two, the entry level. We have very cheap assets right now because post-hyperinflation, there was no money. There's been no money in the country. So the lack of liquidity has created opportunities for those people who have money. There is no lending or substantial lending from the commercial banks because the deposits are very short term and the lending is very short term. The lending rates are actually very expensive. So, this is an opportunity for an outside investor to come into the country if they have money, because the project promoters are prepared to go into partnership or joint ventures with people who have money at very cheap prices. It's very cheap. The assets in this country are very cheap, and this is the time to do this.
In all sectors?
In all sectors. In all sectors. I mean, if you look at the cycles of growth, economic growth, we have seen in Southeast Asia, growth, the opportunities, they're gone. In South America, opportunities gone. The changes in Eastern Europe, opportunities there gone. Africa is really the last frontier where those opportunities exist. And Zimbabwe in particular has a great potential. And we were blessed with abundance in minerals. And, almost everywhere you go, we have minerals, base metals and precious minerals. And we think that this is the time to move into this country. If we talk agriculture, we have lots of land. The land reform is complete. We have lots of land. We have the infrastructure to service the agricultural sector. And we know that, with world food crisis, countries that produce are set to benefit. And an investor who comes and invests in a country that has those sort of resources and those sort of opportunities is set to benefit.
Another issue that the investors raise, especially generally when it comes to Africa, is the political risk. And specifically when it came to Zimbabwe, they are a bit scared. And could you tell us a little bit about the latest political and economical development in Zimbabwe, especially the political one?
Well, the political risk, let me tell you something. The political risk that you hear about Zimbabwe, in my opinion, is a perception. It's a perceived political risk. I think every country has some form of political risk. We've just heard of riots in the UK, and that could cause problems for the ruling party in the UK. So when it comes to political risk, I think Zimbabwe is just like another country, but Zimbabwe's political risks is exaggerated. We think that it's really just a perception because of what happened during the land reform era. But right now we have a government of national unity. Granted, it has its challenges, but these challenges are not surmountable. They are working very effectively together, and we believe that currently with SADC playing a crucial role, a more important role now in the electoral process as well as the constitution-making process, we think Zimbabwe's political environment and future is great. We think that Zimbabwe is going to be very stable, and fortunately we have a nation of people who are not a violent nation, who abhor violence. They have seen what it's like to be in a war situation when we had the liberation war. But now people just want to get on with production. They want to get on with economic growth and feeding their families.
What do you think may happen after the upcoming election in Zimbabwe?
I think what will happen is because these elections are being supervised by SADC, which is a regional body, and there is a new constitution before the election process takes place. I think after the elections we're going to have huge growth in terms of economic growth and stability. We think that the Bretton Woods institutions, the IMF, the World Bank, will come into the country for balance of payment support, and perhaps even cancel our debt. And we think that with that type of stability, foreign direct investment will come in. Already we are seeing some investment in this country from China, India, Russia, Lebanon, Israel. But we think that with after the elections, the amount of investment in the country will be phenomenal. And with that, huge growth, huge growth. So, and there's a point that I think we have to take note here, that in terms of financial stability and financial growth and financial supply, we think that with the stability that comes after the elections, we are really going to see phenomenal growth, because every single household that you see in this country or properties that you see in this country are debt-free because of the hyperinflation. Hyperinflation wiped out any debt that was in the country. We would say 95% or so of most of these households are debt-free. So with a stable political environment, foreign direct investment, we're going to see huge, incredible economic growth in this country.